Let's take a look at evaluating functions using the storage method. Now, first one we'll take a look at is this one. So let me write this on my tablet. Okay, so we got f of x is equal to 3x minus 4. We want to find f of 2. Let's think about how to do this by hand. Your first step is to replace your variables with parentheses. So I put a set of parentheses in for the x. And then whatever number you have right here is automatically what you're going to plug in to those parentheses. So I plug 2 in. And 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 minus 4 gives us 2. Now the storage method, I'm not sure if I'm really that crazy about this method, but it really works well with tying together that concept with using a calculator. So they're not two distinct ideas, but they go hand in hand. Well, okay, so we got 2. We're plugging 2 in, right? So I put 2, and then there's this store button. So I'm going to push the store button, and then I'm going to push my X key. Now that's going to tell us we're putting 2 in for X. So press enter. And then I just type in 3x minus 4. So 3x minus 4, and enter. And you see it gives us 2, which is what we came up with as our answer. Now let's say I want to do a different one now. F of 5, for example. Well, if I put 5, and then I'm going to store it in x, and then press enter. So I just put 5 in x. Well, you can very easily bring up 3x minus 4, and I know it's not that hard to type again anyway. But if you do second enter, that'll bring up previous entries. And then second enter, see, there's 3x minus 4. Now if I press enter, it gives us 11. Because if you put 5 in, 3 times 5 is 15, minus 4 is 11. So this one would tell us that it's equal to 11. And again, there are easier ways on the calculator. The next method I'll show is much easier in this in the next video. But this is kind of very visual. So they see, okay, I'm putting 5 in for the x, and then this, and then they can kind of see how it ties together by hand. Let's look at our second example. We got f of x is equal to x squared minus 4 over x plus 3. And we're trying to find f of 7. Okay, well, first thing I'm going to do a clear out all those. I'm going to go ahead and put 7 in for x. So do 7, then I'll do store, and then x. Now I need to type this in. And remember, the trick to putting a fraction into your calculator is if you have more than a single number, a single variable on top or bottom, put a parentheses around that part. So put parentheses around the x squared minus 4, now put parentheses around the x plus 3. Other than that, we type it in as we see it. So I'll do a beginning parentheses, and then my x key, x squared minus 4, closing parentheses, divided by, beginning parentheses, x plus 3, closing parentheses, and then enter. Now we get a 4.5, and anytime you want to change a decimal to fraction, you just do math, enter. So that tells us this is 9 halves. Now if you watched the video on doing this with the table method, you saw that we came up with a similar answer, fairly easy. But let's say instead of something that we could easily switch, let's say we're going to evaluate this for f of 1/3. We're going to put 1/3 in for the x. Well, again, we do 1 divided by 3, and we're going to press our store, and then we'll put in for x, and then press enter. Okay, now if I do second enter a couple times, second enter, maybe 3 times. There we go. Then we get back to our original function, and if I press enter on that, we get this. And remember, to change decimal to fraction, you do math, enter. And so that gives us -7/6. Now I'm not saying this is the best method to show your students. or for your student, the best method to use. Personally, I like the next method we'll take a look at, which is can't remember the direct substitution method. Anyway, that's evaluating functions on a TI-84 plus using the storage method.